Ireland's second most popular musical export is Enya. Today we're going to take a look at her logo, and we're going to listen to some of her fantastic music. So as we're going through this exercise, it seems to me that it's pretty easy if you're an aggressive band, or if you have a political axe to grind, or if there's something that you have on your mind that you're focusing on and your lyrics are focusing on, it almost seems easier to put together a logo. Because if you're so focused on this thing, or even if it's not, one specific subject, if it's an attitude or a feeling that you have, it seems pretty basic that you would incorporate that directly into your logo. For example, if we go back to the Bad Religion logo, it's pretty obvious that this would kind of be their logo because even their band name is Bad Religion. Or even if we go to the Slipknot logo, these are guys that really are not feeling comfortable. They're feeling a little bit, I don't know if the oppressed is the right word. Probably bored is more the word than anything, coming from a state where nothing really happens, and it almost seems as though you're not going to get anywhere. So the point is, you can feel kind of their angst here. One of the things that I don't necessarily think is quite as easy is, let's connect with our audience right in the logo. And when we talk about Enya, there's nothing that's a strong sort of angry emotion that she has to draw on. However, her logo still is extremely distinct. It reflects the band's personality, and at the same time, it comes across very personal. So here we have the album cover for Watermark, which is the first album that this logo appears on in 1988. To take it back one, this is the first album. Nothing really going on here in terms of setting yourself apart, giving yourself a distinct logo style. Basically, they've just, written the letters Enya across the top. Nothing really distinct. But when we come back to Watermark, here you have a handwritten logo that gives us some insight into the band's personality, and it's very distinct. First off, in that there are only 4 letters, so it's easy to remember, it's easy to recognize. And you have a distinct flow in terms of how do your eyes pass over this word. So one of the first things I want to bring up is graphology, which is, as it says here, the pseudoscientific study and analysis of handwriting, especially in relation to human psychology. So if we scroll down here, you can look this up in your own time, but the bottom line is that when you're studying someone's handwriting, the theory is that you can tell a lot about the person. You can tell, in the case of John Wayne here, you can tell that the signature shows a blacked out portion that represents his lung cancer. So you can tell physical conditions, you can tell the mood that they had at the time, which is essentially integrative graphology here, which says that the stroke, structure, and pressure relate to your personality traits. Anyway, the point is, it's extremely personal, so you feel as though you're more connected with the individual. Now, I'm not 100% sure who created this logo, but I have a strong feeling that it was Enya herself. And if that's the case, and even if that's not the case, as a fan, just seeing this logo in handwriting on the cover of an album has the psychological effect of making you feel as though you are connecting with this person. If you add to that the fact that Enya does all of the vocals and instrumentation, all of the layering, there are many layers to each of her songs where she does the entire range of vocals, and it sounds like a chorus. So the fact that in the songs you get to hear this entire range of her vocal styles also lends itself to this very personal, intimate connection with Enya. So this logo reflects that extremely personal connection that people have with Enya and their music. And I say their music because for non-fans of Enya, it's actually 3 people, and then Nikki and Roma Ryan. So here we have an example of a very distinct logo style, which also shows the band personality. It's symbolic not only of the music, but of the people themselves. Early on in Enya's history, her family has a very famous Irish band, Clannad, which, I apologize if I've mispronounced that, but the bottom line is she grew up in music in a previously established band. Her siblings and her uncles had this band. Her and Nikki and Roma Ryan broke apart from Clannad. It would have been real easy for Enya to stay with her family's band and be famous that way, but she chose to break off and go on her own and make something of herself that way. So in this way, her logo is also representative of that sort of independence and doing it on her own. Or in this case, doing it on their own, because both her and Nikki Ryan left Clannad at the same time. Nikki Ryan was actually their producer, not necessarily a performing member of the band. So there you have it. A very distinct style logo, which is essentially handwriting, that gives us that extra personal connection, and it reflects the band's personality. So that's all for now. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.
Hey everyone, before you go, I want you to keep in mind that this video is part of a larger series. And if you click the link right below this screen, it'll take you to the full course outline, where you can then select lesson by lesson which ones you want to watch. In addition to that, this particular video was a case study. If you have a band that has a logo that you'd like us to go over and explain the design of the logo and how it works, then just send your requests to requests@mahalo.com. Thanks for watching. Many of the logos that we've looked at so far are from heavier, harder bands. Well, today we're going to look at how the opposite of that.